will shuffle and we start. Yeah, we will see how good they are. But generally, the Brazilian stock car is a new car that we never had before, so we know the Porsche Cup really well from past seasons. So those are the two options that we're gonna draw later. First, we're gonna select the two tracks. So once again, those are the options for server 1. Shuffle it up a bit and let's go. Yeah, it's quite interesting because both the Interlagos track is really popular within the stock cars, and obviously the Porsche Cups is running in Oschersleben as well. So let's see if we will have one of those combinations coming up. I have to delete this. Right, so we have now those two tracks. I think we will stick to the track and find out where we're gonna race. Let's go. That's quite funny. It's been the last round of the last season at Interlagos, and this year it's gonna be the first round. So we're gonna be back in Interlagos, and let's see if it's gonna be with the Brazilian stock car or if it's gonna be the Porsche Cup. Let's go. Absolutely. So the server will be made now, so be ready. In the next couple of minutes, the server will start. Good luck to everyone. See you after the race for the second race draw.
So then, that's it then. We're here at Interlagos for what is week 1 of the W12 Sprint Series. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after quite a long wait. The start of the racing series, of the last racing series, was back in 2022. That was around this period as well. We were done with that, as in the background we're already seeing contact. Drivers finding this car very difficult to get to grips with. But the start of the last season, of season number 4 was at the end of 2022, and we ended it at the beginning of 2023. So quite a long while ago. That was all before the real racing season got underway. Of course, we have numerous amounts of real racing drivers in here, and one of those drivers is, of course, reigning and 4-time champion of the W12 Sprint Series. And yes, you've heard that correctly. He was champion of every season, Mirko Bortolotti. This season, second in the DTM, and a difficult run for him in the World Endurance Championship, but nonetheless, some great results there. Let's look on to how this season will be shaped up then, because we will have numerous amounts of new challenges that are lined up for the drivers. One of those new challenges is the fact that we have still the same format, and that format as challenging as ever. That means that for server 1, which is the server that we are in at the moment, we start with a draw. You've seen that draw at the top of the show. That draw gave us this track and car combination. So that meant that it is Interlagos with the Porsche Cup cars. And that means that in this server 1 we have a 30 minutes open practice session. That is the practice session you are seeing at the moment. Then we have a 5-minute long qualifying. That qualifying is a 1-lap shootout. It's 1 hot lap that you get, and that is all. So you need to get it right from the first time. If you get it off track, you're all the way down the order. But we have a chance for you to recover. That is in the heat races. Both heat races will be 6 minutes long, and the top 5 will advance immediately to the feature race. Everything below that will go to the consolation race. That is a 5-minute race to decide the order of the grid, which will be behind the top 5 that advance to the feature race. How that works is that the top 5 of heat race number 1 will occupy positions 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. That is how those positions will line up at the beginning of the race after both heat races have played out. And for heat race number 2, those guys will take up positions 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. That is how we set our top 10 for the feature race. The rest will go into a 5-minute consolation race in which they will try to decide who is going to start where. That is in case of this. Of course, we do have a couple of cars, like you saw in that draw, the V8 Supercars, the Porsche Cup cars, the cars that were eventually drawn, the Clio Cup cars, the TCRs, the LMP3s, and the FIA F4s. That means that at the start of the session, if we do have a Formula 4 session, that means that if we do have that, which is in that case only F4, it will be a 30 minutes open practice session and a 7-minute lone qualifying with 2 laps instead of 1. All the rest will be the same. The ASR guys struggling, contact between the 2 ASR guys. That is not what what you want at the start of a practice session like this. Feature race, once again, in case that we draw a Formula 4 at server 1 at any of this stage in the season, that means an 18-minute feature race, just like in all the other cases. Then later on we will move on to server 2. we will do once again a draw that you guys can witness after we've had the session completed. And then we'll wait for the session to be uploaded and we get underway for server 2. But the cars that are in the draw for server 2, GT3, GT4, GTE, GTP, and the Super Formula. Like Mirko said earlier on, we've moved the GT4s to the draw for server 1. So it's only GT3, GTE, GTP, and the Super Formula cars that can be drawn for server number 2. In case that we draw any car in server number 2, we will have a 20-minute open practice session, so not a lot of practice time, less than what we have here. Then we have a 17-minute open qualifying, and after that we have a heat race, so basically a sprint race of 18 minutes and then a feature race of 20 minutes with a reversed top 18. And that is usually the race that we get the most amount of chaos in. So you definitely don't want to miss that. The point system is a point in both servers for the pole position, the overall pole position. So that is from qualifying, not from the heat races. Then we move on to the heat races. The heat races will have a point system of 12 for P1, 10 for P2, and we go down in increments of 2 until we get to P5 in heat 2, because of course those guys will have come from the qualifying positions. Another crash, that's a GazX driver. Exactly who that was the number 21. So for the consolation race, we have 2 points for P1 and 1 point for P2. For the main race, we have 25 points for P1. We basically use a Formula 1 style point system, but we go down in increments of 1 from P7 onwards, which is 10 for P7, 9 for P8, 8 for P9, 7 for P10, and so on and so on. So that is the challenges that the drivers will face it going into a server. We will also have ballast for the drivers, which is 10 kilograms for a P1 in the manufacturer's class, 10 kilograms for P2 in the manufacturers. Then also for the reverse grid race, race 2, P1 in the manufacturers will have plus 5 kilograms, and P2 in the manufacturers will also have plus 5 kilograms. This will be added for the session afterwards. So if we draw GT3 in server 2, for example, today, and we have GT3 next week in server 2, next week we'll have the success ballast for the server that we had the week before that. If drawing GT3 takes another 5-6 weeks, then we wait another 5-6 weeks with that success ballast. Well then, there's about 20 minutes to go here in the session at the moment. And it looks like Mirko Bortolotti is the one at the moment at the front of the field. That clock is ticking down rapidly. But we also have a silver and a overall class. But don't mistake this. And this is a very common mistake from last season. That means that the silver class will also race for the overall podium. So if the silver class driver wins overall, he will get the overall points. And he will be able to take the points for the overall championship, but he will also only get the P1 points in the silver championship. So the driver that wins overall will get both overall points and silver points, and will compete in both classes. At the moment, the driver who's doing that best looks to be Marnix Heister. He's the driver who's doing that best. It looks like it's loading the liveries again. He's in the pit lane. Benny Moza also coming down to pit road. Mirko Bortolotti is back out again. He's of course our reigning champion. You can see who we've selected on the left hand side in the tower. Their name will turn gold, and that was a golden lap from Mirko Bortolotti. He moves up into P1 with that. 1100ths of a second clear of Jonas Vana. So then the next 15 minutes will be for the drivers to try and learn the track, try and figure out where to brake, because it is also difficult. You don't get a lot of practice time, and the championship is made for the fact that you don't get a lot of practice time. It's here to show talent, and we've definitely seen that. Lucas Müller is also one of the drivers that is not on there at the moment, but definitely is one of the drivers that you have to keep an eye out for. Lucas Müller is of course a goal driver. And Lucas Müller will be classed as a goal driver. That means that he's only able to compete for the overall championship, not for anything next to that. Here comes Mirko Bortolotti down pit road. A lot of drivers at the moment at the top who are actually in pit lane. Mirko Bortolotti now one of them. Jonas Vana. Keep an eye out for this man, because he is immensely quick as well. He drives for Door Esports. And for him, it's been a case of trying to get to know this track. Best lap time for him at 1:34.009. Last time round, he did a 1:35.977. Of course, it is so difficult to try and get these tires up the temperature of the Porsche. See how much you can cut from that corner on the outside. Not the ideal run onto the straight. A little bit of traffic on the inside of the corner. That will not be a problem for his qualifying. During qualifying, he will be on his own. On the roof then with Jonas Vana. Let's take you around a lap of this circuit, because it isn't an easy one. Braking around the 100-meter mark, just a bit after for the Senna S's. A lot of different lives possible through the first part of that Senna S. Then down the hill we run. The second part, the right-hander, easy flats if you take the first part right, and the left-hander afterwards leads onto this beautiful straight afterwards. We have a little bit of time to rest. Once again, braking round the 100-meter board into the left-hander of turn 4. Try to stay within track limits there, because it's so easy to get that off track. That is going to be one of the spots where you might not want to take as much risk going into the qualifying session, knowing that you only have one shot, and knowing that you don't have a second bite at the cherry here. You can cut a lot of the insides of the corner. That is turn 6. Turn 6, turn 7. Then the left-hander up the hill, turn 8. Sets you up nicely for another right-hander. A lot of understeer in these corners, especially in this car. And this is not easy flat, although you would say that in a Formula 1 car, and not in this Porsche. You can clearly hear the fact that Jonas Vana was lifting. The car ahead of him gets out of the way nicely, gets a nice run onto the straight. And let's see what he's going to be able to do. He is improving in any of the sectors so far. So I don't think Jonas Vana is going to go a lot quicker. If he is going to go quicker, it's not by a lot. Vana across the line, and indeed, like I said, he's not going to look great. He's 9 tenths slower than his last lap time. Here's Quinten Verdonk from DSRT. DSRT has 2 drivers in the championship. Together with him, it is Marnix Heister, in the championship. Marnix Heister, formerly of Platinum Racing Team. Platinum Racing Team represented by Winston Eckel in this championship. Winston Eckel, who doesn't look like he's here this evening. Someone who's previously raced for Platinum Racing Team as well. Hugo Rob. P6 at the moment, driving now for GasX Racing Team. He's made that switch. I have to say that Golden Black always looks striking. It's the Golden Black that Jonas Vana has as well. Jonas Vana straight on into turn 1, not the first one to do so. You can see that by the marks in the grass. But while we have time to quickly resolve something, it'll only take 2 seconds and then we'll be back with you. We're back with you. And we're back at Interlagos. Marius Souk at the moment in pit lane. Mirko Bortolotti still out on track. He's going to try and improve on his previous best. While Benedict Hitz has gone to the provisional quickest time by about 0.3 of a second. A 1:33.58 from Benedict Hitz. Benedict has improved massively. Bortolotti back into pit lane. And Jonas Vana is now the next one out on track, who's going to try and improve on his time. But it looks like that is a stellar time from Benedict Hitz. Maybe it is for Door Esports. It's a great time, 1:33.589. He's gone back into pit lane after that immediately. Marcus Deutsch at the moment in P18. He's second in the silver class, quickest in the silver class is Marnix Heister. He is 14th overall, and quickest in his class for DSRT. 35.186 for Marnix. Finds himself behind one of the GasX guys. GasX has a lot of drivers in here. That is a bit too much corner cutting there, Marnix. And he's going to go back to pit lane. At the moment, quickest in his session, or in his class, in the silver class. So he'll be doing a good amount in terms of points for the silver class. Marcus Deutsch, like I said, is closely following him. Then it's Quinten Verdonk, the other DSRT driver. Lucas Cambert, he is an overall driver, finds himself at the moment in, well, P22 overall, P18 in the overall class. But if you're P22, doesn't matter which position you're in the overall class, because you're going to score points on where you finish overall. Because your overall class is not a separate class on itself. It's just the drivers that are not scored within the silver class. Has gone quicker than Mirko Bortolotti. 33.721 for him last time round. So waiting now then patiently is everyone for qualifying. 3 minutes 50 to go. It is a lot of practice that you do get before this. It's not that you have to jump in cold. Henrik Steurer for Porsche BSG Virtuelle Motorsport. Whoa, moves up, it's a P4. There he is for Gazix. Benedict hits for Dor, then it's Jonas Vana. Also for Door Esports, then it's Mirko Bortolotti for Gazex, and then it's Hugo Rob, also for Gazex. Henrik Steurer for Porsche BSG Virtuelle Motorsport. Hendrik Augustin for Impulse Racing. Marius Zug for BS Plus Competition. Marinko Jordanovski for Gazex. Lucas Müller for Door Esports. Then Pascal Haas for Austrian Sim Racers. Markus Pleshberger for Your Moment Racing. Walter Lux for the Gorillas AVL's Race Tech Sim Racing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that team name, you've seen that correctly. That team name does indeed state Gorillas. And yeah, I was looking through the official sign-up form, so the official entry list for the event, and I saw the names and I had difficulties keeping a straight face. So questions do be asked to Walter Lux. Why, where and why did you come up with the name Gorillas AVL Race Tech Sim Racing? Questions have been asked. Hopefully our question will be answered at some point through the season. Because that must be a fascinating story from them, why they've gone with that name. Martin Stadtmann at P13 for Gazex. Benny Moza for Austrian Sim Racers in P14. Florian Becker in P15 for Gazex. Manix Heister for DSRT. On the front row for the Silvers, Jens Fiedler for Bravio Fliatore in P17. Also, how have you come up with that name? Of course, that name made from Flavio Briatore, someone who was very closely involved with the Crashgate scandal during the, I think it was 2008 year, and it was the Singapore Grand Prix, and Fernando Alonso got that win due to his teammate crashing at exactly the right moment for Alonso to make a pit stop, thus gaining Alonso the advantage. And thus Alonso winning that race. Bravio Fliatore is the name of that team. Florian Stadtmann in P18 for Gazex Racing Team. Marcus Deutsch for the Austrian Sim Racers. A lot of returning names, also a lot of new names. Quinten Verdonk is one of those new names for DSRT. DSRT running really well in that silver class. Chris Meyer for the Gorillas AVL Racetech Sim Racing team. Then Jan Lins for Fach Auto Tech Esports. Oh, it's not what one of the DSRT guys wants. I think that was Quinten Verdonk in the 110. But that is the end of that session. Ladies and gentlemen, it is qualifying hour and qualifying time. Alright then, we are waiting for the drivers to get out on track. Everyone's out on track now. So who are we going to look with? Of course, for this first race of the season, we are going to look with Mirko Bortolotti, our reigning and defending champion. Going to try and defend his championship for a fourth time successively. Has done so on 3 occasions before, and I have a feeling he's going to show you now exactly why that is. It's about getting those tires up to temperature now. On the bottom of your screen you can see the drivers that have gone purple. This will be in their respective class, so someone who's in the silver class will be counted towards someone in the silver class, so he will get purple to someone in the other silver class. For Mirko Bortolotti, for example, he'll be counted towards the quickest driver from the overall class. And I have a suspicion that Mirko Bortolotti might do really well here in this qualifying session, might actually set himself up really well for that race. Let's go on board then with Mirko Bortolotti and let's see what he can do. There he is, Mirko. On board now with the Italian defending champion. Mirko braking just before the 50-meter board, getting it stopped way in time. No risk taken there for Mirko. Those tires still not quite up to temperature in this car after one warm-up lap. It really does take 2 laps before they properly up to temperature. And when they're not, they feel a bit like plastic tires, very hard tires, tires that you just only slide on. This is the corner that he needs to get through. No risk taken there on the outside to get a track limit. Roof of Mirko Bortolotti now. We're going to see times on the left hand side slowly but surely trickle in. Svana now with a purple forward sector. It is Henrik Augustin, who at the moment would take the pole position. Overall, he's quickest in sector 2, 3, and 4. Jonas Vana to the position of pole 134.43. But what can Mirko Bortolotti do? He is quickest in sector number 1 all the time. Trickling in the left-hand side of screen. We're on board with the defending champion Jonas Vana, still on the provisional pole position. And obviously didn't quite do it. Mirko Bortolotti, defending champion. Where does he put this car? It's P3 for now. Hopefully for him stay P3. That means he will go into the pole position heat. So he hopes he's going to stay there for the silvers. It's Chris Maya who's going to try and take pole position there. Driver's still out on track and still going for it is Lucas Müller. There is Lucas Müller at the moment. Looks like Lucas Müller has already had 1 lap. But he's going quicker regardless. At the moment, Lucas Müller is in P14 with his previous lap time. I don't know if he's just continuing or if this is really going to count as his first lap. He needs to be quick though to the line if he wants this lap to count. He can definitely get some spots. It looks like it's going to be Chris Meyer on the pole position for the silver class. But Lucas Müller has about 5 seconds left to get to the line. He's going to manage to do so. Is he going to climb positions? I wouldn't say so because he's already done his lap. And indeed, he doesn't. Well then, let's quickly take you through the grid for this race then. Here we have it. Mirko Bortolotti will line up alongside Jonas Vana on the front row. Marius Zug in third. Pascal Haas fourth. Chris Meyer fifth. Sixth for Florian Becker. Seventh for Jan Lins. Jens Fiedler in eighth. Benedikt Hochleitner ninth. Martin Stadtmann in P10. Philipp Ugren in P11. Thomas Egelwolf, in P12. And P13 for Christoph Steiner. Matthew Roughton in P14. Stefano Pellegrino 15th. 16th Sean Ter, who's been moved up to the gold class after being so sensationally good in the silver class last time out. On last season, Hugo Ropp in P17, he's gotten an off track and that has made his life difficult for today. And then Eugene in P18. Here we have the grid. That is how we line up. Davy Uwema in P18. Well then, let's go down to the track. And here is our grid pole sitter. It's going to be Jonas Vana, who's going to start this race from the optimal position. And who's going to start this charge for the pole position in the feature race. From the ideal position, of course, taking pole position is one. That gives him an extra point. That gives him the first championship point that will be given out. But for Jonas Vana, the only thing that he's now thinking about is getting a good launch off the line. Waiting for Pascal Haas to enter the track. He's done so now. Hugo Ropp at the back of the field as well. And we're waiting for the 5 red lights to come on. There we go. 1, 2, 3.
Green
4,
flag,
5.
green flag.
It's lights out and we're underway. A good start for Mirko Bortolotti. An even better one for Jonas Vana. He's going to try and cover off the inside. To try and cover off that attack. Down in the third one from Mirko. He goes extremely deep. And that is a textbook switchback from Jonas Vana at the start there. Marius Zug is now trying to line up the 92 of Mirko Bortolotti. Pascal Haas in P4. Going to try and make his way around him as well. Marius Zug has to watch out that he doesn't now break himself. Mirko Bortolotti for a moment thinking about defending, not needing to do so. The battle in the background though between these two. That's 74 overtaken by Jan Lins. But Hugo Ropp, unbelievable. A charge from the back of the field from P17. And he has made his way all the way up to P6 on this opening lap. And that is what you can do in a heat race like this, and it's not over there. Both Kazakhs guys in formation. Bortolotti trying to pressurize Jonas Vana at the moment on the silver pole. For now would be Jan Lins. He's going to try and make his way up the insides of Chris Meyer. Well, that was Chris Meyer rather making his way up the inside of Jan Lins. Chris Meyer in the 116. See that on the left hand side. Chanter. He is in P12 overall. Damage on the back of that car, but who's gone round? Who's gone round? Florian Becker has gone round on the end of lap number 1. And he will have to start from the back of the field. Benedikt Hochleitner. He racked up loads of penalties last season. And that wasn't the ideal get around of Florian Becker either. Philipp Ugren has gone round. Goodness me, his debut in the W12 Sprint Series has ended up in turning donuts at turn 1. This is the battle though at the front of the field. Mirko Bortolotti. He's going to try and make his way round Jonas Vana. Marius Zug close behind him. If anything happens between those two, he's there to pick up the pieces. Same can be said for Pascal Haas. Marius Lucas front row seats to a attack from Mirko Bortolotti on Jonas Vana. Three are going to try and make their way through this race without any huge dramas. None of them really wants to be in a disadvantage come race time. We're waiting. Gap now. Half a second is that gap from Mirko Bortolotti to Jonas Vana. That is too much yet. Fiedler is on the back of Martin Stadtmann. He's going to try and make his way around the outside, but turning one is able to have a little bit of a look. He wasn't quite to go for against Fiedler. What he's now going to try and do is set up a better exit. It looks like he's managed to do so, however. So quick through the right hander is Martin Stadtmann. And that opens up that gap just enough, I think, for Jens Fiedler not to be able to have a go. Just Maya, this is for the pole position in the silver class. Jan Lins has gotten back past Chris Maya. These two have had a real good go at it to the outside as Chris Maya has to lift. Didn't quite have the run that he thinks he would have. Thought he would have. And has slowed him down considerably. Oh, he's almost pushing Jan Lins through the corner, and that's losing him valuable time. Just said his quickest lap as well, 1:35.777. No, also just set his personal best lap time. It's Marius Zulkis on the back of Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko does not have any slips in Jonas Vana whatsoever anymore. Bortolotti is running back from Jonas Vana. Jonas Vana was close last season as well. Trying to beat Mirko Bortolotti. Didn't quite get close enough in the end. The gap was quite big. Mirko Bortolotti always puts his A game. That's why he's champion. 4 times already in this 4-season running of this series. But it's going to be Jonas Vana who's going to take the victory home in this race. Here we go, Jonas Vana. We'll start from pole position in the feature race. The top 5 of course advances, so Martin Stadtmann is the last one that advances to the feature race. The rest will have to wait. So Hugo Rob will go again, Jens Fiedler will go again, Jan Lins will go again, Chris Maya will go again, but Jan Lins is provisionally on the pole position for the silvers, but that will all be decided going into the consolation race, and for that we have to wait. A couple of crashes, Benedikt Hochleitner who crashed again, but we don't have time to look at that. What we do have time to look at is the grid for this second heat race. Hendrik Augustin is going to start from pole position, Walter Lux in P2, Marcus in P3, Marcus It's a good starting position, 7/10 down though on the pole sitter Hendrik Augustin. Hendrik Steurer in P4, Manix Heister in P5, Tom Lightcape 6th, 7th Lucas Müller, Benny Mosa in 8th, 9th Quinten Verdonk, Christian Ablasa in P10, Lucas Camber in P11, P12 for Markus Deutsch, P13, Michael Dörlinger, Torsten Gross in P14, 15 Benedikt Hitz, Marinko Jordanowski, P16, and Florian Stadtmann in 17th. It's time then to get going. Hendrik Augustin is going to start this race.
Green, green, green.
Position. A good start from Hendrik Augustin. And a good one from the man behind him as well, Markus Bleshberger. He's going to try and open the attack on his teammate Walter Lux on the inside. He's going to have to make his way around the outside, but he's going to do so successfully. Really good move. However, Walter Lux is coming back in the second part of the ZOS. And also coming through is Manix Heister. He's up into P3, and that would give him the provisional silver pole position. A good start then from the silver. Manix Heister has to watch out though. To his inside almost was Lucas Müller. He's a bit wide though, going through turn 4. That has cost him. That has daily cost him. That has given away that top 3 finish that he had. Markus Bleshberger, P5, Benny Mosa in P7 at the moment. And in the background it's Quinten Verdonk who manages to save it. Oh, he did. But he comes back onto the track, spins again. Hopefully out of anyone harm's way. Yes, it is. But Quinten Verdonk, after we thought everything was done and dusted, after we thought he'd regathered himself, spins it completely on himself. Hendrik Augustin, a good start for him. Look at the gap that he has already built up. Walter Lux in P2, Lucas Müller in P3, and Manix Heister at the moment on the provisional pole position for the Silvers. Then it's Michael Dörlinger in second for the Silvers, 7 or 9 at the moment. The overall standings. Markus Bleshberger 5th, 6th Hendrik Steurer. Now Benny Mosa to the outside of Lucas Camber. It's not exactly how we liked it. Not exactly what he wanted. But it's going to be fine. Benjamin Mosa P8 at the moment. Has dropped down that position compared to Lucas Camber. Camber has moved up to P7, but Mosa into P8. Walter Lux, that gap has opened up to about a second. With Lucas Müller at the moment in P3. A little bit further back, this is the battle that we were all looking at earlier on. Markus Deutsch, Christian Ablasa. This is the battle for P12 at the moment. It's so difficult to drive this car without locking up. As you can see there, it has happened numerous amounts of times. Because it isn't easy at all not to lock these front tyres. Big start on the back of Markus Bleshberger. He's going to try and make his way round up to P5. Because then he would advance to the feature race. And then Steurer would have to go again. That is an off track there for Manix Heister. Still the highest classed silver driver. He would be the only silver driver who's gone through to the feature race immediately from the heat races. He'll be the first silver to do so this season. Quinten Verdonk looks like he's gone round again. Having a torrid evening so far, Quinten. P16 Dom had a good qualifying, but from there on, looks like it has gone downhill. Here is your leader at the moment. Hendrik Augustin is leading by about 1.5 seconds. Walter Lux in P2. P3 for Lucas Müller. quick top 3. Just come back. Pressurized by Marinko Jordanovski. Marinko has had a tremendous journey. He's not only gained loads and loads of iRating, but he's also become a better iRacer himself. Has had such an incredible journey. Benjamin Moser ahead of him. It's Marcus Pleshberg and Hendrik Stara fighting. This is for P6. This is not giving them anything. This is giving them P2 for the consolation race, which will be 5 minutes. But this is not giving them anything in terms of going through to the feature race immediately. So both of them probably going to try and work together. This is the last lap of the race. That's one thing that's for sure. Hendrik Augustin is not going to have to go many more times around this track. This is his last tour of the track in the heat race. We're then waiting for the consolation race. We have 15 seconds to go. Don't look at the timer on the top left. That is wrong, both of them. There behind, Hendrik Augustin is first, Walter Lux second, and Lucas Müller looks like he's going to be in P3. Alex Heister will be the only silver driver to go through to the feature races if he can clean for a couple more corners. He's under pressure from Hendrik Steurer. It's going to be a drag race to the line for those two. Will it be P8 or will it be P10 for Manis Heister? It's going to be P8 for Manis Heister. And it's Hendrik Augustin who's won this race ahead of Walter Lux. Lucas Müller in P3. Manis Heister in P4. Here we go. Stops at the outside of turn 1. Was absolutely done with the pressure. Wanted to probably get out of his seat. Stop the pressure immediately. Benjamin Moser. He will start from P4 in the consolation race. Justin Ablasa finishes P11 here. Quentin Verdonk, difficult race for him. There we had Michael Dörlinger. He finished not too high up the order either. I think P15 it was for him. Well then, we're gridding for the next race already. And the grid is looking as follows. Hugo Ropp will start from the pole position ahead of Marcus Pleshberger in P2, Jens Fiedler P3, Benjamin Moser in P4, P5 is rounded off by Jan Linds, a good qualifying position for him as well. Then in P6, Marinko Jordanovski. Gridding is already done. Hugo Ropp starting from that pole position. Hopefully for him a good pole position. As we are slowly but surely awaiting the lights. Here we go, here go the lights.
Green, green, green.
It's lights out and away we go. A good start for both guys on the front row. Looking at the pole sitter Hugo Ropp, it looks like he will lead out of turn 1. Jens Fiedler, Jan Linds, who had such a good starting position, he has gone off at turn 1. Was there contact with Hugo Ropp? It looked like there was contact with someone driving with the Kazakh livery. But exactly place who that is in the background, it's mayhem. Drivers across the track, and that is a big, big crash, huge crash on the back straight. And that is not something that these drivers will want to see. And everyone's caught up in it. My goodness me. Everyone to Torsten Gross is caught up in it. And that is going to throw the grid for the feature race completely on its head. One who will be happy with that is Hugo Ropp. He will start from a good P11 if he keeps up this pace. Then it's Jens Fiedler from P12, Marinko Jadanovski from P13. But that is not what he would have wanted. Not what he was hoping for either. Whoa. A 1.5, almost 1.6 second gap to Jens Fiedler after that first lap. But it was Mayhem coming to the back straight. And where exactly did all of that kick off? I think it was here. It was here where it all kicked off. Oh, big crash for Benjamin Moza. And then look at the chaos behind that. Absolute chaos behind that. Goodness me. I'm surprised people even got through that. That was the starting crash. Back to Jens Fiedler, who's still trying to chase down Hugo Hopp. Marinko Jadanovski in P3. Good starting position for him, P13. Especially if you consider what has happened to everyone behind him. Chante, he has gotten through there with minimal damage. He's also trying to get through on Chris Meyer. Chris Meyer gives him loads of respect. Great move by Chante. Great move by the youngster. Youngest driver in the series. Also the youngest driver this year. Once again, like it was last year at the ADAC Sim Racing Expo. If you don't know what the ADAC Sim Racing Expo is, it's an expedition! That's not what you want, Schulte! Looks up going into the second to last corner, and that's going to give him also many trouble. So much work to do. I was just beating you up, Sean. You let me down there, and not only me, but also yourself, because you're now in P14 instead of your lovely P9 where you were before. And it's going to do all of that work all over again. For the people who don't know what the ADAC Sim Racing Expo is, it's an expedition where you can test all kinds of stuff that is about sim racing hardware, but it's also one of the biggest LAN events in sim racing. I think they had a $10,000 prize pool this year at the ADAC Sim Racing Expo. Trotter was involved in the main race for that. And he was once again the youngest driver to be involved in it. Jens Fiedler, P2, now dropping down considerably. Compared to Hugo Marinko Jadanovski. Dropping down compared to Jens Fiedler as well. Florian Stadtmann finds himself in P4, and then it's Thorsten Gross. This is the next silver driver after Marnix Heiser, who's going to line up in P8. He has a 7th position gap, and if it stays like this, to Thorsten Gross, who's P2 in the silver class. Love the livery that Thomas Egelwolf is running in the Golf livery Porsche. We all love a bit of Golf livery. But Chante is giving himself lots of work to do. And that lots of work he doesn't have, because Hugo Hopp is on the last lap of this race. Just about made it to start-finish line before we enter another lap. So the white flag is out for everyone. That is an off-track Hugo. You can't do that too often. Hugo immensely quick for Platinum Racing Team. He made that switch. He announced this switch about a week ago. Not even a week ago to Gazx Racing Team. And he's been flying high ever since. We've seen a renewed Hugo Hopp. And that renewed Hugo Hopp will take a victory here in the consolation race. Although it's only a consolation race, so you don't buy a lot for it. It's only 2 points. Jens Fiedler will pick up the other points. Or will it be Marinko Jadanovski? Marinko is all over him at the moment. There's only half a second in between them. Marinko is also gaining on Hugo. It's It's gonna be a drag race to the line. No, it's not. Marinko Jordanovski, what have you done, sir? You've done yourself so much your head in. Florian Stadtmann was way too far back to take advantage of that anyways, but Marinko Jordanovski could take that risk, took that risk. Also taking that risk was Hugo Rob, and he makes his way through and wins the consolation race. That means he will start for P11. Jens Fiedler will start for P12, and Marinko Jordanovski will hang on to P3 in this race and P13 on the starting grid. P2 for the Silvers then is Thorsten Gross, ahead of Thomas Egelwolf in P6 in this race, but he will start P16 and P3 in the silver class. Well then, that was it for the heat races and the consolation race. Now we're going to get down to the real deal. We're going to get down to what matters, and that is the feature race. Here is where the points will be given, and we will start with the grid for this race. Let's take a look at the grid then. After we've had this 5-minute warm-up, because first of all, what we will have is a bit of a warm-up session, but what's a heat racing and consolation race we've seen? A big crash in the consolation race. Loads and loads of people back into pit lane. Loads of people damaged after the opening lap. So not ideal. Not ideal at all. The only driver who that was ideal for was the drivers who missed it by a hair. And who, because of it, could build up quite a lovely gap. Chanter, he also made that mistake. He was in P9 when he made that mistake. He gave himself an awful lot of work to do, not only in the consolation race, but also now in the feature race. Here we go. Feature race is finished. Let's take a look at your grid for, or your warm-up is finished. Let's take a look at your grid for the feature race. Jonas Vana in P1 ahead of Hendrik Augustin in P2. Mirko Bortolotti third, and of Walter Lux in P4. Marius Zoek fifth. Lucas Müller sixth. Pascal Haas seventh. Manix Heister on the pole position for the Silvers in P8. Martin Stadtmann P9. Hendrik Stora P10. Hugo Rob in 11th. Jens Fiedler in P12. Marinko Jordanovski P13. 14 for Florian Stadtmann. Thorsten Gross P15. Thomas Egelwolf P16. Tom Leitgeb 17th. Chris Meyer 18th. Marcus Deutsch 19th. Mikael Dörlinger in P20. Christoph Steiner P21. Jan Lins P22. P23 for Davy Iwama. P24 for Sean Ter. P25 for Stefano Pellegrino. Benny Mosa P26. Christian Ablanzer in P27. Matthew Roughton P28. Marcus in P29, Quinten Verdonken P30, Philip Ögruin in P31, Benedict Hitz in P32, Florian Becker P33, Benedict Hitz in P34, and Lucas Cambe in P35. Let's go down to the grid. Let's take a look at Jonas Vana, because it's lights out and we're underway for the feature race. A good start from Jonas Vana once again, now diving to the inside to try and defend it from Hendrik Augustin. Around the outside goes Mirko Bortolotti. Is he going to be given the room? Yes, he is. He's going to get that P2 coming out of the right-hander of the center edge. Better exit though for Hendrik Augustin. What this is doing is giving Jonas Vana the gap that he wants. Now he needs to take advantage of that gap that is created for him in the background. It's Mayhem. And that is one of the Gazek's cars off. Magnus Heister pulls it in the silver class. He still is on track. Up to P7. Mikko Bortolotti under attack now from Hendrik Augustin, who's going to try and make his way around the outside of the right-hander. And that's not going to be done. Not on Mirko Bortolotti. He's going to give himself a chance around the outsides of turn 7. Also a no-go for Mirko Bortolotti. Defends that well, Hendrik Augustin has the shots in behind. Behind that it is Walter Lux trying the attack on Lucas Müller. Didn't quite work out as he would like. Walter Lux under attack also from Marius Zoek. Has to watch out. 18 minutes this race, and we've already had 1.5 minutes of it. So what a race that was, goodness me. What a start of the race that was. Jonas Varna still out in front, 1.5 seconds now to Mirko Bortolotti. Jonas Varna on pole position. Won the heat race, is about to win the feature race. That is a Grand Slam in server 1. So he only needs to do the same in server 2, but server 2 is loads more difficult, brings new challenges. One of those challenges being the fact that we have an open qualifying. People can be in your way, people can find slipstream and everything. Walter Lux once again under attack from Marius Zug. Marius Zug trying to make his way up the inside, the number 66 machine. Marnix Heister has been pointed to P8, but Marnix Heister himself says, no sir, I will not have P8, I want better. And he gets P7 from Pascal Haas, those two going at it. Jens Fiedler in P9, Marinko Jordanovski at the moment in P10, Sean Ter in P11, gave himself an awful lot of work to do. But at the moment, he's doing that work stealthily. Is up to 13. Florian Stadtmann in P12. Nico Derlinger in P13. Henrik Steurer in P14. Christoph Steiner in P15. Thomas Egelwolf in P16. Torsten Gross in P17. He just made his way up there. But Marcus Fleshberger says, no sir, I want that position back and I shall have it back. Fighting for P17, one of them an overall driver, one of them a silver dog, Torsten Gross, 777. He is for the silver cross, also able to fight, of course, for overall positions and alongside him, Marcus Fleshberger in the number 7. Ahead of that, it was Thomas Egelwolf looking up at the goal flipping. Making it difficult also for Marcus Fleshberger to try and create a gap. Being held up through the corners, but on the straights he always seems to get a good enough exit enough for Marcus Fleshberger behind him to attack him, but that was until now, and now Marcus Fleshberger, Torsten Gross and Jan Lins get past. Quentin Verdonk is now also the next one past him. That was rough for him, and Thomas Egelwolf is now round. That was on the top of turn 6, and around he goes. That has just made his life a lot more difficult. P25 that is for him now. Still leading this race, Jonas Varna by about 2.5 seconds. A stellar drive from Jonas Varna so far. The only driver able really to do anything about the Mirko dominance so far. Mirko himself has a second gap to Henrik Augustin, and then it's Lucas Müller in P4, Marius Zug in P5. Walter Lux in 6th, Pascal Haas in 7th, Marinko Jordanovski in P8, Jens Fiedler 9th, Sean Ter has found another position, of 14 positions now for Sean Ter. Behind that it's Florian Stadtmann trying to make his way around Marnix Heister, who's for some magical reason dropped down, so was Sean Ter. That is an off moment for him, and once again he is demoted himself. All but his own fault in doing so. Someone says that everything he needs to do is focus on the next task at hand, focus on the next break zone, focus on the next turning in point, and focus on the next throttle application. That's all he needs to do. He doesn't need to be thinking about anything else. He doesn't need to be thinking about the fact that he is at the front of the silver class at the moment. The only thing he needs to be thinking about is his next task in hand. So is the same for Jonas Varna, but Jonas Varna is doing that a bit more successfully than Marnix Heister at the moment. He's lost 2 positions compared to where he started. Once About to lose another one. Someone came into pit road. That is Lucas Müller. That is the first of our pit stoppers at the moment. First one to make a pit stop. He's going to go early. We're going to see some different strategy as well. Who's going to come in when? Because what will now happen is that Lucas Müller will be running heavier than the rest of the drivers. Remember, it is fixed setup, so he couldn't change anything about his starting fuel load. So the only thing he's just done is he's made himself heavier compared to all the other guys. But for some drivers that works out, for some it doesn't. If you're in traffic and you think, okay, I have at least a second a lap over these guys ahead, you can pit early and you can do the undercut that way. What's happened? Monix Heister, where have you gone? Monix, where are you? Monix has made a pit stop. That is what Monix has done. David Irwin, here we go. Well, the SRT boys. Himself one after the other. Monix Heister ahead. Monix Heister the leading SRT car. Here's Jonas Vana going around for another lap without pitting. Captain Mirko Bortolotti now 4 seconds. Hendrik Augustin has closed that gap as well. 6.5 tenths of a second is the gap now from Hendrik Augustin to Mirko Bortolotti. Mikko Derlinger is the next one on the list to make a pit stop in the silver class. He now has inherited that P1. Augustin. Close that gap ever so slightly to Mirko Bortolotti. First driver who's made a pit stop, you might ask, Lucas Müller. He came in at the end of lap 4. We're at the end of lap 6. Talk to Jonas Vana. Talk to some drivers further back. We're at the start of lap 6. Marcus Stratman, for example, he has made his pit stop already. Starts of lap 6. Up at the end. Jonas Vana, what's he going to do now? He's going to pull into the pit lane? No, he's not. He's going to continue for another lap, and he just sets a purple lap time. 1:33.38 for Jonas Vana. Tremendous lap time. We are Mikko Derlinger and Magnus Bleshberger fighting it out. Behind them they have Chanter, who has front row seats to this battle. To the outside, it's not going to be enough. Mikko Derlinger is going to start right behind Magnus Bleshberger. Chanter can't go on the attack. Oh, that's a mistake. That's a mistake, I think, for Marcus Bleshberger. Stays ahead though of Mikko Derlinger. So he's done enough for that mistake, not really to matter too much. I don't think that was a leaving the track and gaining an advantage either. Carefully have to hang on to the car. Hendrik Augustin has lost a bit of time now compared to Bortolotti. He's stuck behind one of the traffic drivers at the moment. Driver gets out of the way, but that must have cost him some time. It always does. Very nice. And both of these guys now into pit lane. Jonas Vana into pit lane as well. Walter Lux is going to continue. Let's hope his first race in the W12 Sprint Series that he's not going to run out of fuel. Usually when Jonas Vana comes in Everyone else has to come in. Jonas Vana also exits the pit lane as the leader. Nico Bortolotti is right behind that. 6 seconds almost is the gap now to Jonas Vana. Goodness mate, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've got a battle on our hands here this season with Jonas Vana and Nico Bortolotti. We will have answers to the pecking order, of course, very shortly. Because Monday will be round or week 2 already, and then we will be racing every Monday. We won't be racing on the Friday anymore. Go over the calendar in a bit. But first we focus on Walter Lux. Is he going to run out of fuel? Or has he played the ultimate strategy game here? Still has the pit. Gorilla's AVL Race Tech Sim Racing driver Walter Lux pulls into the left hand side and pulls into pit lane now. So there's Jonas Vana. Jonas Vana is easily going to get him. He's not even going to have to think about that. There we go. Jonas Vana back up into P1. Now out of pit lane. There he is, it's going to be close. He goes for Pascal Haas. No, there goes Pascal Haas. Not really close at all. He's going to have a nice gap to slip back into after the pit stops. We have a consolation race distance to go now. 5 minutes, even less than that. A little bit over 4. Jonas Vana with a commanding lead. 5.6 seconds is the gap. Then it's Nico Bortolotti and Henrik Augustin. Battles further on as well. Chris Maya. No, Chris Maya was off the track. Let's see what Chris Maya has done. Here we go. This is coming down the hill into turn 4. Is Chris Maya going to go deep, or is Chris Maya going to go and spin off? Chris Maya is going to go spinning off. That's why he lost so much time. Also after the pit stops at P11 now, Hugo Rob trying to make his way up his inside. Those two are former teammates. This could get spicy. And it doesn't for now, but Marnix Heister, even though he's silver, showing him where the door is, showing him where the limit is. Hugo Rob gonna pull him right behind him, gonna pull out of the slipstream down the inside. And Marnix doesn't fight it too much, gets a better exit though. And that gives him the inside. This could get feisty up the hill. You want the inside here. Marnix Heister is going to get the inside. Hugo is going to make his way, try and make his way around the outside. Or either set something up for the next corner. Marnix points it to the apex and says, no sir, there's no way you're going past here. Parking it perfectly everywhere. Almost contact between the two. You don't want contact between the two because that could bring up rivalry. That was long closed. Oh, Hugo Rob around the outside. You're not going to do him like that, are you? No, he is not indeed. But this is an amazing battle between the two former teammates. Marnix Heister and Hugo Rob. Pull into a slipstream now. Gap between the two. Half tenths coming onto the straight. This should be enough for Hugo to try something at the end. Coming down rapidly. Not looking to the inside whatsoever. We have a minute and 20 left. That means about 2 more laps to go for those two. So Hugo needs to be quick as well. Doesn't have loads and loads of time. Here is the battle for P2. Hendrik Augustin on the back of Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko needs every point he can get as defending champion, because it looks like he has a real challenger this season in the form of Jonas Vana, who, if he doesn't do anything crazy, is going to, well, cruise to this victory. Hendrik Augustin with a bit of a moment. It's going to slow him down. It's going to open up the gap again. That's going to be exactly what Mirko wanted. Mirko knows exactly how to milk a mistake like that. He's got to get every single thousandth out of that. Still behind Mike Seister. We switch back to the battle in no time, because Hugo up around the outside of Mike Seister. This is a no-go here, especially with the understeer on these cars, and he doesn't do it. He's under pressure now from his new teammate Florian Stadtmann. Florian Stadtmann has front row seats to all of this. The both are side by side coming on to the start-finish straight. This is going on to the last lap of this race. This is going to be Marnix Heister or Hugo Rob. Marnix has the inside for this one. We're on the roof of Florian Stadtmann. He sells in the dummy. But the switchback is done by Marnix Heister. Goodness me, this is racing to the best degree. Hugo Rob once again is shown the outside door by Marnix Heister. Once again, the outside door works. Marnix Heister with a textbook switchback. And it's now going to be only one chance left for Hugo Rob. That is going to be the middle sector or the run down to the line for Jonas Vana. He is almost already at that run down to the line. It's been a stellar race for him. And the first session that we're going to go into, so server 1, will be a grand slam for the number 19 for Jonas Vana, because he has done everything he needed to do. And he's done everything he needed to do to get a good start to the championship and show that he's going to challenge Mirko this season. Jonas Vana wins the feature race of Server 1. Mirko Bortolotti is going to come through in P2, and Hendrik Augustin going to finish off the podium. But where are we with this battle? Marnix Heister up the hill. Not the best of exits from Hugo Rob. It looks like Marnix Heister is going to win the silver battle and is going to come home in B11. Hugo Rob tried everything and a bit more, but it wasn't quite enough. He's going to come through in P12, but stellar racing by the two former teammates and his new teammate Florian Stadtmann. Unbelievable. Wow, wow, wow. What a race. Well then, the only thing that is awaiting us now is the draw for the next server. For Jonas Vana, what a drive. We could take a look at the results later on before we go to the draw. I'm just waiting for everyone to come to the draw channel, and then we can proceed with the ongoings. But what a race from Jonas Vana. Has done everything he needed to do to show to Mirko Bortolotti that he is here this season and that he is a real challenger for the championship this year. If he keeps up how he's doing right now, Mirko Bortolotti, defending champion, only good enough for P2 here in server 1. If we look at the silver class, Marnix Heister has won that. ahead of Jan Lins in P2 and Torsten Groos in P17 overall, and P3 in the silver class, which means that he will get P17 points as well in that class. Everyone is slowly but surely trickling in. I hope we can talk. I hope we can talk to some of the drivers as well later on after we've had the draw.
Welcome back.
Hello, Mirko. How was that for a race?
Hello, Dan. How are you?
Yeah, good. How was that for a race? Maybe a bit lowly for you at the front, but I think for everyone at home, they've thoroughly enjoyed that one. We've had such an amazing race here in Server 1.
Awesome. I think we are ready for the draw for the second one.
For sure we are.
Wasting too much time. I think it's time to draw straight away. Just looking for my page. There we go. So I'm sharing my screen. You're all welcome to join. This is obviously the last thing we did before. Let's start again. Those are the options, as we all know, for the second server. The layout, the format will be different. We'll have short practice, but an open qualifying. 18-minute races with the reversed grid for race 2.
Just to be clear.
I've been told by Florian Stadtmann that
That is GTE. A long time ago since I saw those cars out on track. The GTP cars. One thing we know is that Interlagos is not one of them. We've had that track already. And it looks to be Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, I think. So which will be the second track? We'll know in a second time. Zandvoort GP or Hungaroring, it's going to be Hungaroring. Which card? That's the question.
Combination will be another thing for the drivers. You need to stick to one of the two cars that you selected for the season. So for the GTE, that's Canadian. Yes, GTE, that's Canadian. Good luck, everyone.
like also if that is possible to have Jonas Vana, you Mirko, and Hendrik Augustin, and Monix Heiser in the waiting room for interviews. Thank you. Well then, that was the draw for the second server. But I say we start immediately with the interviews for server 1. Jonas Vana, welcome in.
Hello.
It's a long time ago since we talked, isn't it?
Oh yeah, felt like, I don't know, like a century.
You're happy to get W12 Sprint Series back underway?
Of course. I mean, I was hyped. I knew when winter was coming, W12 hopefully would be there, and now it is. And I mean, perfect start for the season.
So you've Grand Slammed server 1. Is that to say to Mirko, okay, look, this season it's going to be a lot more difficult to take the championship?
I hope it is. I mean, I finished second twice. I think probably now the start of the season was perfect. Like everything went well. Now I hope to continue it throughout the remaining weeks.
What did you think of the track and car combination? It seemed that a lot of people had some issues, especially with the difficult nature of the Porsche Cup. No ABS, no traction control. How did you find it?
I mean, I love the Porsche Cup, and I also love Interlagos. First few laps were quite difficult since the Porsche Cup is really hard with a lot of understeer. But I mean, in the end, I nailed it, I think.
Well, the next track and car combination, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park with the GTEs. The GTE, is that a car that you've driven recently?
No, I think actually nobody drove it recently. I mean, it's pretty much out of iRacing, if you say so. But I think I can get back into the rhythm quite quickly, so we will see what happens.
All right, Jonas, thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you.
On then to Hendrik Augustin. P3, Hendrik, for you in server 1 in the feature race. How was it?
Hello everyone. Yeah, pretty good start into the season, I think. Was a lot of fun, nice fights, and yeah, could be better right now.
Well, the track and car combination was a difficult one. How'd you find the Porsche Cup? Because it can be quite a tricky car to get to grips with.
Yeah, it's very tricky, but I like the car. And yeah, it was pretty fun. And yeah, through this fixed setup, it's yeah, as well very nice to have fights, and yeah, was a lot of fun.
Do you think that the fixed setup is something that improves the quality of racing that we have in W12 and that gives you maybe a fighting chance where you, rather in a different situation with an open setup, might be 5/10 behind because someone else has a different or better setup?
I think Fix is closing the field a bit, especially with the random draw. It gets the field pretty, yeah, close to each other, I think, and give us very clean and close battles on track.
All right, Hendrik. For the GTEs at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, you think you'll be up there in the top 3 again?
Could be difficult. It's a long time ago I drove these cars, and yeah, but it's still a very nice class, and yeah, I will look forward to drive these cars.
All right,
again.
Hendrik. Thank you very much and good luck in server 2.
Yeah, thank you. See you.
Then we talk to our silver winner. That is Marnix Heister. Marnix, welcome in. How was it out there?
Good evening. Well, it was tough. Haven't driven the Porsche Cup car in a long while, but it was great fun. I like the track. It's a great car track combination. It was tough out there because the grid was quite tight, and of course no practice. I mean, there was practice, but that was just 20 or 30 minutes before the actual first race or qualifying. So not a lot of time. I like the format, so it was great. I enjoyed it. I had a nice battle along the end with Hugo, my old teammate. I loved it. It was close, but fair and tough, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. But unfortunately, can't make the second race. So yeah.
Well, for that fight together with Hugo, we saw a lot of it. Was there any rivalry between you two now having changed teams?
No, no rivalry at all. We spoke right after the finish, and he said he really enjoyed it, and sorry if I touched you. And no, it was all good. It was a good rivalry in a good way. We enjoyed it. I enjoyed it really much. It was no, it was enjoyable, and I was having fun out there. Yeah, it was great fun.
I want to talk about that moment at turn one, where you switched back Hugo, but he first sold you the dummy. When he did that, did you think you'd lost the position?
I always try to go for the exit, especially here with these cars. If you maybe normally a corner, for example, turn 3, I think that's the fast left-hander, is normally in third gear. But if someone goes deep and you can cross them back with second gear, you get a better acceleration, as these cars are quite understeery, yet oversteer. So just if you keep the control of the car and manage to get the exit, you get a better of him, and you can actually go for a battle instead of yeah, that's your loss, your position. He got it, but so that's a great of this car, that you can actually fight back and have a great battle.
All right, morning. Sad you can't make server 2. Will we see you back Monday?
Yes, see you guys. Good luck and have fun.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Well then, that was server 1. We're now going to wait until we get to server 2. So for now, what we will do is we will go to a waiting screen, and well, we will be back with you when we've got server 2 to draw. Of course, we know that it's going to be Canadian Tire Motorsport Park with the GTEs, which is, in my eyes, a great track car combination. So we will see you there once we have switched servers. Until then, stay safe. See you there. back at Canadian Tire Motorsport combination this is. Boy, have I been looking forward to this one. 5 minutes left in this practice session. But after that, we'll have plenty of qualifying to look at and to enjoy. Multiple cars here. You are my man. Yes, one of the only drivers going with the Ford, but Jonas Vana has also gone with the Ford. The Ford is my personal favorite out of this category, and boy does it ever look amazing. Boy does it look amazing at the moment. First, Chris Müller. He's in the Porsche. Porsche seems to be the quickest car so far. Benedict Hitz. He is in the Porsche as well. Benjamin Moser as well. Benny Moser. Florian Becker in P7. Henrik Augustin in P8. Martin Stadtmann in the Ford as well. Boy, does that look amazing. Might well see a victory with Jonas Vana in that Ford. In the original Ford livery as well. Can't really go any better than Door Motorsport or Door Esports. And the Ford for Jonas Vana. Will it see a pole position? Will it see a win? At the moment he's 3,000s off. But ask me, where's Mirko Bortolotti? Here is Mirko Bortolotti. He is in Ford. He's right behind Jonas Vana. But he is in the Corvette. So we have 4 different cars here this evening. 5 different cars actually here this evening. That is the Porsche of Lukas Müller. Here it is, the Porsche. Then we have the Ford in the hands of Jonas Vana. Then we have the BMW in the hands of Marius Zug. That looks beautiful in the BS Plus competition livery. Then Mirko Bortolotti in the Corvette. And then the only driver in this car in the Ferrari, it is Florian Stadtmann. The only driver in the Ferrari. Those are all the different cars that we have. Here we have a closer look at the BMW. What a machine that is. The BMW M8 GTE. A huge car. That car, if you put it up against any other car, it is so much bigger. The Ford is big as well. If you put this car up against any prototype, the prototype will simply look stupid. Let's put it like that, because, well, let's be honest, these cars are so big that this doesn't make any sense putting them up against the prototype. Because the prototype would actually struggle to be seen. Jonas Vana has gone to the quickest lap time in the Ford. Well, am I ever happy with that? Normally, ladies and gentlemen, I am not biased at all, but since I do not see these cars race very often, since I do not get to commentate on them very often, I'm a bit biased toward Jonas Vana in the Ford. Especially because he's driving the Ford, of course. Martin Stadtmann, if he wins in the Ford, that's fine to me as well. Let us know as well what your favorite car is. Boom, into the wall goes the Ferrari of Florian Stadtmann. That Ferrari, well built though, because that Ferrari is still able to drive even after that big of a hit. So that Ferrari, very well built. So 3 different manufacturers in the top 3 and 4 different manufacturers in the top 5. Stadtmann, I got told, should be a gold or should be a silver, a gold. So Florian Stadtmann. Should now be a silver. He's going to reload, and then we go to Florian Stadtmann, and he is a silver. Trying to start these cars as well will be a challenge, because we will have just a standing start. That's all we will have. No more, no less. But it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the open qualifying session. New challenges this will bring. Of course, this year in real life in the WEC was the last year of the GTEs. So no more GTEs. To be honest, a bit sad. These cars were just amazing. They were just an amazing piece of machinery. But luckily in iRacing, we can still replicate those amazing days. And we have a full field of GTEs. They sound amazing, they look amazing, and they are just simply amazing. There's Jonas Varna. So then first lap of this amazing track. It's right on board on the nose with Jonas Varna. Right-hander uphill that keeps tightening, keeps tightening, keeps tightening. We have a little bit of a straight. We go left downhill after this. And after that left downhill, it's a double right-hander on the uphill. So uphill right-handed, then it flattens out a bit, it drops down again, but it keeps turning right. The car changes stability in that corner so much. So difficult for the drivers to predict it as well. Jonas Varna, purple in the first sector. Purple in the second sector as well for Jonas Varna. What will this bring? And this will bring a lap time of 1:12.21. Jonas Varna said that he didn't need a lot of time to get up to grips with it. And he definitely has shown that he doesn't need any time really. Bortolotti jumps up into P3. Here he is in the Corvette. The Corvette, one of the only cars that has the that dash away from the steering wheel. The Ferrari, one of the ones as well. So is the BMW. But boy, listen to this. All three of them going off. As the Ferrari stranded on the inside. I wanted to keep quiet, but that was a moment. 3 cars off for the train. Monkey sees, monkey does. That is very often the case. Jonas Varna has improved his 1:12 further. It's now 1:12.21. Or 1:12.15, excuse me. With Sean there. What a car and what a track combination this is. Oh, Mirko Bortolotti. That's a heavy crash for him. And you don't see them often like that from Mirko Bortolotti. Usually a very clean, a very consistent driver. Usually never really crashes. how that was different. Jonas Varna still at the front, 1:12.21. Mirko Bortolotti, then Florian Becker, the Porsche. More important with the Porsche as well, because that one sounds amazing. So then, now we've had all cars, except the Ferrari. Let's listen. Yeah, how they have to feather the throttle really. Jonas Varna at the pole at the moment. Mario Suk in second. And Luke Augustin third. Lucas Müller fourth. Mirko Bortolotti fifth. Florian Becker sixth. Quinten Verdonk the first of the silver drivers by a long mile. Quinten Verdonk also in the Ford. Also in the original Ford livery. The EcoBoost away, that Ford won 24 hours of Le Mans. So then, how are we looking for the moment? Jonas Varna P1 ahead of Marius Zug in P2. Henrik Augustin in P3, Lucas Müller P4, Mirko Bortolotti in P5, Florian Becker P6, Quinten Verdonk in 7th. He's the first of the silver drivers by a long mile. Benny Moser in 8th, Benedikt Hitz 9th, Markus Leschberger in P10, Sean Terg in P11, Hendrik Steurer in P12, P13 for Pascal Haas. Rob in Corvette in P14, Florian Stadtmann the second of the silver drivers, then Jens Fiedler 16th, 17th Walter Lux, 18th Martin Stadtmann, 19th Stefano Pellegrino, but third in the silver class. That tells you how far up the order Quinten Verdonk is at the moment. Flying in that Ford GTE. Varna has just gone to a purple lap time, 1:12.08. Bortolotti in P2 has also gone to a personal best lap time last time round, 1:12.41. But still, that pole position there for Jonas Varna by only 1 mile. It's unbelievable. I don't know how he does it. I don't know what his secret is. That's off in the background, one of the ASR guys. I think that was Jens Fiedler. Might have been Jens Fiedler or Jan Lind. Can't have been Jan Lind, can it? No, Jan Lind was driving the Porsche and we saw clearly that it was Corvette off. love the fact that people said it's GTE, it stands for endurance, it's boring. And then you tell them that that is not the way to go. That was Benjamin Moser, Benny Moser. And then you tell them that's not the way to go. Or then you tell the people, okay, well, GTEs are actually quicker than the GT3s. And then they look at you and they're like, oh, wow, well then it is cool. So yeah, it's amazing how people's perspective changes when something is quicker. They're actually quicker by quite some margin as well over the GT3s, especially at Le Mans. Benedict Hitz has just jumped up into P11, but he has put in a purple last sector. In a traditional Porsche livery. Love to see it. And has dropped Chantal down to P12 in a traditional BMW livery. Not all drivers have liveries for these cars. That makes them just drive with the normal liveries that they had, that they've been integrated into iRacing with, basically. Jonas Varner still on the provisional pole. Lucas Müller now second. Then Benjamin Moser. And then Mirko Bortolotti, who was second not too long ago. Times are tumbling. Quickest lap time for Lucas Müller, 1:12.40. Quickest lap time for Benjamin Moser. P3, 1:12.41, 100th of a second in between those two. And not even that. Quinten Verdonk also slowly but surely trickling down the order. These tyres do go off after a certain amount of time. Marko Jordanovski, he was quite quick in the last race. He finds himself at the moment in P24, so not ideal for him. 4 minutes 30 seconds left in this qualifying session. Looks like no one is improving at the moment. Lucas Müller was improving. He's gotten to within 1.5 tenths of a second of Jonas Varner. When the fuel burns off in these cars, that they get loads and loads quicker. Everyone's out on tracks to try to find your spot as well. And that still stands. That was from the beginning of this session, but look at the tow that Lucas Müller is getting. The tow that some of these guys are getting, because the two Fords and the Porsche up in front were also towing each other along. So, is it now Florian Becker improving? He's right in front of us. Does he improve position? Oh, yes, he does. Took a little bit of time to show on the timing screen, but he was third now. He was 10th before. What a lap from Jonas Florian Becker. That puts him right into the mixer. Chanter, he's 1.2 down like he was before. is also improving. There's Jan Lindsay's just gone across the line. Mirko Bortolotti is improving. Mirko needs 33 hundredths of a second. What is he going to get? He's not going to get an improvement. That's what he's going to get. David Uberma, he is in P31 and he stays in P31. Svana is improving on his own time at the moment. He goes into pit lane, so he won't be improving either. Lucas Müller into pit lane, he's done well. Last one then to enter lap time in the top 3, Florian Becker. He improved not too long ago. Henrik Stern up into P13. Time for another one. Hugo Rob improves. He now is P13. We're all waiting. Across the line. So that will tell us where the top 2 will stack up. Will he stay where he is? Or will he move up? It doesn't look like it. He's backed out of it. So Martin Stadtmann is the next one across the line. Martin Stadtmann on the bottom, you can see, not improving. He did in the last sector, but he was too far off. He was further off than he was on his quickest lap. So he moves back into pit lane. Marcus Fleshberger. Damage on the front of that BMW. There you can see how much they value the fuel dropping off. But let's take a look then at the starting grid for this race. Like they've qualified, Jonas Varna in P1 ahead of Lucas Müller in P2. P3 for Florian Becker. 4th, Benjamin Moser, Mirko Bortolotti in 5th. Martin Stadtmann in 6th. Marius Zug in 7th, Hendrik Augustin in P8. Benedict Hitz in P9. Marcus in P10. Quinten Verdonk in P11. P12 for Sean Tay. P13 for Hugo Rob. P14 for Hendrik Steurer. Pascal Haas in P15. P16 for Jens Fiedler. Walter Lux in P17. Florian Stadtmann P18. Torsten Groos 19th. Marinko Jordanovski in P20. Jan Lins in P21. Stefano Pellegrino 22nd. Matthew Ralston P23. Tom Leitgeb P24. P25 for Chris Maya. P26 Philip Ugran. Benedict in P27, Lucas Kambert in P28, Mikkel Derlinger in P29, P30 for Marcus Deutsch, Davy Uberma in P31, Christian Ablesser in P32 and Thomas Egelwolf in P33. That is our grid here. That is how we are waiting for the 5 red lights to come on. Eagerly waiting, patiently waiting. And everyone wants to get underway. 20 seconds left. Waiting for Hugo Rob to join the track. He has done so now. The gridding is done. The wait is over. The 5 red lights will be coming on. There they are. Lights out, and we're underway for the first race here in Serbia. To a great start from Jonas Varna. Lucas Müller waiting in one as well. Mirko Bortolotti immediately up 2 positions, has to give one back though to Florian Becker. Goes to side by side. Teammates as well. Florian. What's that one for Bortolotti? Marius Zug in P5 tried to make his way around Florian Becker, who's already lost 1 position and might be on the verge of losing another. Then it's Benjamin Moser in P6, lost 2 positions. Stadtmann in 7th. Sean Ter, a great start for him. He's up 4 positions on the opening lap. Hendrik Augustin in P9 and Benedict Hitz in P10. So far it looks like everyone coming through there cleanly. when I say that, Stefano Pellegrino in the wall that is up the hill, turn 6. And once again, that is proving to be a difficult point of the track. That car, a little bit of toe in on the way, that's not what you want. So he goes back to pit lane. This is the battle between Benedict Hofleitner and Lucas Cambert. Lucas Cambert drives for the overall. Benedict Hofleitner drives for the silver class. Florian Stadtmann has gotten the P1 silver class. Here's Florian Stadtmann. Loser of the squad. He's got 4 positions compared to where he started. What has happened to Quinton? I can't particularly see any damage on that car. Might have just not gotten away well. Well, be honest, Varna did get away well. The gap now 7/10 at the moment. It's been a little while ago since I last saw a 4GT at the front of the field. But today is the day that I see it again, and it's in the hands of Jonas Varna. On the beautiful platform that's called iRacing, where you can do things like this. This in real life would never be possible. Now that GTE has had his use. A little further back on the back of Chanter was quick in the last race, but just made 2 more mistakes. And there we go, there's another mistake. Right on cue. It's like a good heat Chanter. Mistake from him, and that's going to lose him potentially 2 positions. No, it's only going to be 1 for the time being. But that is for sure less than ideal. So Chanter losing 2 positions almost at once. Look, Augustine in P8 now, trying to chase down Benny Moza for the ASR team. The sim racers. Jonas Varna for Door Esports. Giving each other an inch. Gyro cam now. Lucas Müller trying to chase down the man out of it. The man who's taken a grand slam so far, has done everything he needed to do. Quickest in practice, quickest in qualifying. What more can you want from an evening like this, being Jonas Varna? That is a question that if he wins the feature race, we will definitely ask him. That is one that the people will be wanting to know. What more could you want on an evening like this? Well, let's not speculate because it's way too early for that. 13 minutes to go. A pit stop to go as well. So it's way too early for speculations here. One thing's for sure, Lucas Müller is going to try and make it Jonas Varna as difficult as can be. Lap last time around from Lucas Müller was a 10.5 quicker than Jonas Varna, who was now off the track. Finds a Gabe. Tom Lightgabe, yes, it is Tom Lightgabe. And what is wrong with that car? Well, he's gone back to pit lane, so presumably on. Tom Lightgabe out of this race then. That's the very serious. Up also in P29, you can see that on the ticker on top. Quinton Verdon has got himself up into the top 3 of the silver class again. He's got himself also up into the 20 overall. Here's the battle now between those two. A little bit of a mistake from Jonas Vana. That has brought Lucas Müller right onto the rear bumper of him. Beautiful scenery here. It's Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. The sound of the rumbling V8s. Of these GTE cars. So back to the field is Walter Lux. He's trying to make his way past Hendrik Sturla. All of these drivers in the slipstream of each other, which means that none of them really can go for a move here. Jens Fiedler is going to go for a move on Florian Stadtmann, or rather Florian Stadtmann on Jens Fiedler, and Florian Stadtmann gets the move done. That is one position gained on the overall for Jens Fiedler, or for Florian Stadtmann, excuse me. He's into the pit lane, the first one to do so. This might also be why Hugo Romp is so far down, but I think there's something more serious with that car. Couldn't really see anything. Went by that quick. No, can't really see any damage or anything. Jordanowski. Trying to defend from the Porsche of Jan Lins. Was that so successfully? Jan Lins now under pressure instead of attacking himself from Lucas Kramberg. And it's Quinton Verdonk or Paul Titter in the silver class for this race. He's 19th. If he can gain one position, he will get that reverse grid pole position for the feature race. And that would help his charity a lot. Lotti's in, Benjamin Moser's in, Hendrik Augustin is in. One man is not in, and that has just stayed unchanged for the lead. Jonas Vana and Lucas Müller, both of them continuing. But Jonas Vana can't make one single mistake, or the Falcon tire liveried Porsche is all over the back of him and potentially passed. It does look like that once that car is passed, might not be a lot of room for Jonas Vana to try and re-overtake it. So he needs to think about his defense. 3.5 minutes to go. We're halfway to this race. We're over halfway even. There's Zug. Has made his way past Florian Becker, that's for the last spot on the podium. But there are drivers ahead of that so this is not for the podium legitimate, but it was for position going into pit lane, and also into pit lane is Jonas Vana and Lucas Müller. Now, this pit stop is going to be also important. Stopping on your marks. Jonas Vana, the first of the two cars, then Martin, or then Lucas Müller, the second of the two cars. And that is a bit of a gap that may have built up. That is a bit of a gap that he's been able to build up in the pit stop. Jonas Vana, always quick on pit road. Lucas Müller now has a gap of 1.6 seconds to close. And that's going to be a monumental task. Jonas Vana is not going to do anything crazy. Martin Stadtmann, one of the only drivers who was able to continue, also is a Ford. So are those Fords just a little bit more economically friendly on the fuel? That's maybe cost Lucas Müller a chance for victory here. Because now that Jonas Vana has his gap, he is so good at extending that. There goes Martin Stadtmann into pit lane. Jonas Vana is about to come up onto pit entry. On the right hand side you will see appear a yellow line, that is pit entry, and past Martin Stadtmann he goes. There we go. It's back to the lead for Jonas Vana. And now he can do what he's so good at, and that is extend that gap. Hendrik Augustin is right behind Florian Becker. Those two come out right behind the Ford of Martin Stadtmann. Stadtmann doing a tremendous job. Quentin Verdonk is also all over the back of Florian Stadtmann, brother of Martin Stadtmann. And this is for the lead in the silver class. Quentin Verdonk to the outside. That will be the inside for the next corner. Will he try it? Yes, he will, but he won't be quite close enough. He's now, though, compromised his run onto the straight, which was maybe the chance for him to get that position. He's now not close enough to the Ferrari ahead of him. The Ferrari ahead of him from Florian Stadtmann. Massive slipstream from Jens Fiedler. Jens Fiedler's going to try and make that pass on Marinko Jordanovski. He's almost virtually pushing him through that corner, but he couldn't quite make the pass stick. Quentin Verdonk still right behind Florian Stadtmann. Already seeing a win or seeing a victory in about 5 minutes if Jonas Vana doesn't do anything crazy at the front of the field. Will the Ford see a win? And will Quentin Verdonk, more importantly, see the win at the end of the 5 minutes? It's a question that we ask ourselves now, and a question that we will have an answer to in about 5 minutes time. Oh, who's now? That's one of the ASR BMWs. That's Pascal Haas. Pascal Haas has gone off. That was at a very difficult point of the track. Watch out, Pascal. Oh, that car's grabbing. That car's grabbing like crazy. Make your way back to pit lane, boy, because you are not eligible to continue for the rest of this race. So then, he gets out of the way of anyone else. Jonas Vana, here's the gap, 1.9 seconds at the front. Like I said, once he's got his gap, he is so good at extending it. Quentin Verdonk still right on the back bumper of Florian Stadtmann. Still closely followed by Florian Becker. Lucky in P3. He will lose further points to Jonas Vana. Verdonk is now very close. He's once again going to try it up the hill. Once again going to compromise his exit, but this time it looks like he's got a great one. A bit of a snap oversteer coming out of the right hand there, but he's got a great run now, Quentin Verdonk. What can he do compared to the Ferrari or Florian Stadtmann? We know the Ferrari is quick in a straight line, but the Ford is equally so. Tucks back into the slipstream, couldn't quite make the pass stick earlier. Tries his way down the inside of the right hander. He's going to make it stick in. He now gets pushed out to the outside. Is the next corner as the inside for Florian. Florian keeps that P13 overall, and most importantly, P1 in the silver class. DSRT took the victory earlier on with Marnix Heister in the Porsche Cup in Server 1. DSRT could be about to take his second victory here for Quentin Verdonk. Able to win the sprint race here in Server 2. He has 2 and a bit more minutes. that happen. Also 2 more minutes for Marinko Jordanovski to defend from Jens Fiedler. He's once again done so successfully. Right behind that though, Florian Stadtmann. That is an important one, is gotten past Jens Fiedler. Jens Fiedler gets pushed off the track by Florian Stadtmann. And that is the call for Quinten Verdonk to come through and take the first position in the silver class, but most importantly, P12 overall. And that is from P24 at the start to P12. And that shows you that Quinten Verdonk definitely does have some pace in his locker. Oh, there goes Quinten Verdonk, I say that, and then he makes a mistake himself. It's not going to be a double victory for DSRT because Quinten Verdonk has ruined it for himself. That direction change is a difficult one. And he's gone off at the last corner of this track. Tries now to keep the inside to Davy Ewema. But Davy Ewema, his fellow Dutchman, gets through. Jonas Varna at the front of the field, still that gap, 1.8 seconds. He now is going to enter the last lap of this race. White flag is out for Jonas Varna. Got his gap after the pit stops. Lucas Müller has tried everything in his power to claw back, but he couldn't quite. Jonas Varna needs one more lap to have a perfect evening so far. Won everything he could win and took the pole position in server 1. In server 2 he was quickest in practice. He was quickest in qualifying, took the pole position, has led from start to finish so far, but it isn't over yet. However, Jonas Varna will think differently about that. What a stellar drive from the German. However, he's got a bigger challenge coming up. That is a reverse top 18. Marinko Jordanovski will be on the reverse top 18. On the reverse top 18 grid, pole position. But it's this man, Jonas Varna, who's going to open this season in style. Took a victory in server 1 and does the same in server 2. Jonas Varna, a perfect evening so far, wins the sprint race here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And a 4th season victory once again. Then it's Lucas Müller in P2 and P3 is Marius Zug in the BMW. Hendrik Augustin in the Porsche, trying to make his way through as well. There he is. Mirko Bortolotti in the Corvette in P4. Walter Lux in the Corvette. That delicious looking Corvette in P9. Hendrik Störa in P10. Jens Fiedler in P11. Florian Stadtmann, he hangs on to the victory in the silver class. Jan Lins got close, but not quite close enough for P2 in the silver class. And Torsten Gross finishes P3 in the silver class. Well then, what a drive, and let's have a look at the result very shortly. But what a drive from Jonas Varna and from Florian Stadtmann, both your respective winners in their classes. There it is. Let's take a look at the result from race 1. Here it is. Jonas Varna finishes on top. Lucas Müller in second to make it a Door Esports 1-2. Marius Zug in third. Mirko Bortolotti in fourth. Hendrik Augustin fifth. Florian Becker sixth. Martin Stadtmann in seventh. Sean Ter in eighth. Ninth is Walter Lux. Hendrik Störa P10 and Jens Fiedler 11th. Florian Stadtmann 12th. Jan Lins 13th. Torsten Gross 14th. Chris Meyer 15th. 16th Marinko Jordanovski. 17th Matthew Ralston. 18th Benedikt Hochleitner. 19th Quinten Verdonk. Davy Ewema in P20. P21 for Mikael Dörlinger. Benedikt Hitz 22nd. Hugo Rob 23rd. Thomas Egelwolf in P24. Marcus Deutsch P25. Benny Mosa P26. P27 Philippe Ugrin. Marcus Pleshberger in P28, Pascal Haas P29, and P30 for Stefano Pellegrino. P31 for Lucas Krambe, P32 for Christian Ablasa, and P33 for Tom Leitgeb. Well then, that was that. Let's take a look then at the grid. How are they going to stack up for the feature race? Benedict Hitz is going to start, or Benedict Hochleitner from P1, Matthew Ralton second, Marinko Jordanovski in P3, Chris Meyer P4, Thorsten Gross P5, Jan Lind 6th, Florian Stadtmann 7th, Jens Fiedler 8th, Hendrik Störer 9th, Walter Lux P10, Sean Ter in 11th, and 12th, Martin Stadtmann. 13th is Florian Becker, Hendrik Augustine 14th, Mikko Pozzolotti 15th, Marius Stook 16th, Lucas Müller 17th, Jonas Warner 18th, Quentin Verdonk 19th, Davy Uwema 20th, Michael Derlinger P21, P22 for Benedict Hitz, Hugo Ropp 22nd, Thomas Egerwolf P20, for P25 for Marcus Deutsch, 26th Benny Moza, 27th Philippe Hugrin, Marcus in P28, Pascal Haas P29, Stefano Pellegrino P30, Lucas Kambe P31, Christian Ablase in P32, and Tom Leitgeb in P33. That is how they're going to line up. There is Benedict Hochleitner. The 5 red lights will be coming on very shortly.
Green flag, green flag.
Amber green, green, a good start from Matthew Ralton alongside him. Not quite good enough to challenge Benedict Hochleitner. Cross in P3. A good start for Amy, gains 2 positions. Marinko Jordanovski. When you don't perfect without a rear wing, that car is grabbing to the pit lane, and his race is over before it even really began. Jonas Varda up 6 positions. Mikko Pozzolotti is always strong in these reverse grid races, so keep an eye out for him. There he is, right behind him in the Corvette. John Terra, pole position as well. Benedict Hochleitner is trying to run away at the front of the field. 20 minutes of racing. Thorsten Gross in P2, up 3 positions now. What a opening lap for him it has been, and it couldn't get better. He's looking to challenge Benedict Hochleitner into right-hander. Couldn't quite do it. Looks like that opens up that gap a little bit later on. That was lap 1 then. Unbelievable. What a lap 1 we've had. The way ahead of Thorsten Gross, but for how long I'm questioning. Gross doesn't quite seem to have the balls to put it alongside Benedict Hochleitner yet. Let's feel out this race. Let's feel what he can do. That clean pass, the Porsche is quick in a straight line though. Corvette not quite. And especially not with that exit of Benedict Hochleitner. He hasn't done himself a favour there. Boy with the gyro cam on the right hand side. You can see Thorsten Gross. Oh, contact between the two! Goodness me! The top 2 in this race have crashed! And that is a big crash down the start. Or down the back straight. Involved in that is quite a lot of drivers, but look who's come out second. It's Jonas Varner. Unbelievable. He has done it again. Where is Mirko Bortolotti? Have I jinxed him? Have I said that he's usually one of the drivers who's quick and clean in these reverse grid races? Has he now had an incident happen? Well, it looks like that is the case, but that was a huge crash down the back straight. Let's take another look at that. But my goodness me, Benedict Hochleitner. Let's take a look at that from the chopper cam. Here we go, the two get tangled together. Both spear off into the left-hand side. Well, that is Benedict Hochleitner, the leader in the race. Into the back of it is the Porsche as well. Oh, look at the cars that just managed to get through there. Gap opens up, tries to rejoin, but that car was clearly crabbing. What's a crash? Jan Lins went absolutely flying there. we go. On board the gun lanes to control the can. Boom! Goodness me! Who was that? That must have been. Goodness me. Went absolutely flying. Anyways, Jonas Varna has gone to the front of the field. Pit stops already happening. So drivers deciding to go for a little bit of different strategy. But that was a humongous crash at the start of this race. And not what anyone would be looking for. Matthew Ralton in P2. He's a silver driver, so for him this is absolutely amazing. Quinten Verdonk in P5, up 14 position from where he started. He started just outside the top 18, he started P19. Did that to himself by making that mistake, spinning from the lead in the silver class in the previous race. Gave himself a lot of work to do, but that work he's doing stellarly at the moment. It's a 1-2 for 4, then it's a Corvette. The hands of Walter Lux, and Augustine in P4 has a Porsche. It's Quinten Verdonk in P5 also with a Ford. But let's take a look at the battle in the front here then. Walter Lux for P3 is right at the back bumper of Matthew Ralton. Here he comes to the outside, goes Walter Lux. Going to try and make him sit, because instead Augustine is going to make his way past. That was good driving from Hendrik Augustine. Knew exactly what he needed to do. Moves over to the right hand side, doesn't give anyone any slipstream. To have the inside for the next part of the track, but that won't work out quite as well as he would have liked. Matthew Ralton is now under attack from his fellow silver class driver, Quinten Verdonk. The man who drew away that chance to win last time out. And is now going to try and do exactly the same. Moves to the inside for the right-hander. He's going to get the slipstream of the two guys ahead of him, and he's got to stoutfully move past. He's now up into P4. And that is some great points if he can stay there for the silver class. Because remember, the silver class doesn't matter. Like in the silver class, you will be scored for the overall points. Silver class is just a class that they compete within, but the point system is exactly the same as for the overalls. So Quinten Verdonk finishes fourth, he gets points for finishing fourth. And finishes P1 in the silver class. Jonas Varna has a 4-second gap, and like I said, once he has got that gap, no one is able to close it. So I think we might see a grand slam here from Jonas Varna. And he will have the perfect opening to the championship with Mirko Bortolotti down the order in P11. If there's one man who can come back through the field, it's this man, Mirko Bortolotti. He's done that so often on his way to the championship, and he knows that this first round isn't everything. But he also knows that he's now under pressure because Jonas Varna is performing. Puts the pressure automatically on this man, this Italian. The number 92 Corvette. It's always nice to open the season well, but it's always perfect if you can open the season without losing any single point. That it looks like is what Jonas Varna is going to do. Could he get an overall podium? That would be amazing for Verdonk. It's visibly quicker than Matthew Ralton behind that. Hugo Roth is now behind Matthew. There's a Porsche in between that. Exactly place which Porsche that is. Now it's important for the guys ahead of it to make sure that they don't get caught in any pit stop drama. That is very easy to do. Quinten Verdonk, I saw in the background there, is going to try and make his way around the outside of Walter Lux. That's not going to be an easy move, but if he can hang it around the outside, then we'll give him the inside for the next part of the track, and that will promote him up onto the podium. You would say the inside low for Walter Lux. Walter Lux opts to go into the pit lane. Not to take any risk with that. He was forced to that line anyways, and he might as well use it. So Walter Lux into pit lane. Redon up onto the overall podium. Now he's going to try and chase down Hendrik van der Steen. Matthew Broughton right behind him. Not losing as much as he was before. Trying to chase down Matthew. He's got that Porsche out of the way. Now it's him and Matthew Router, one after the other. Both trying to make this work in the best way possible. It's man v man now. It's 1v1 between these two, nothing in between it. Goes into pit lane, so does everyone else in front of him. Jonas Varna already stationary. Coming out, Matthew Roughton now has the lead. But for how long? This is due to the pit stop cycle. Matthew Roughton has been able to go considerably longer every time, really. First time racing in W12 Sprint Series from America, so we love having him here. It must be early for him now, but we appreciate the fact that he is even here. Varna in P2 after the pit stops has about a 4-second gap to Mirko Bortolotti, who has had that gap because of pit stops. He tried something completely different. Stopped at the end of lap 1. Matty Roughton, here he goes. He's going to try and find pit lane. That will give the lead back to Jonas Varna. There's Mirko Bortolotti. That's quite the gap, but not impossible to close, especially not for our champion. That was Jonas Varna, he's now past him. Matthew Roughton, waiting to come out. Stationary pit lane, there goes Quentin Redon. So he stays ahead of the force. Have a little bit of a look further back into the field after the pit stops. We go over start of 12. He's behind Sean Terre at the moment. Sean Terre doing a tremendous job once again to keep hold of that position where he started. He's getting quicker, he's up 11. Benjamin Moza up 16. He's leading this train. He's trying to chase down Matthew Roughton. So much after that pit stop phase, not only in terms of positions but also in terms of time. He's down 7 from where he started. For him, his damage limitation, trying to stay as high as possible, trying to get as high as possible. Has also dropped down the phase. To the podium, he's now P6. Ahead of him is Lucas Müller. That is quite the gap, about 2 seconds. Verdonk. P6 at the moment, but P1 in the silver class. P1 overall, still Jonas Vana. It's going to get a bit boring now, isn't it? Already. This early on into the season, Jonas Vana is winning everything. And you would say after 4 seasons of Mirko Bortolotti domination, it would be good to see someone take that reign, but the problem is that Jonas Vana was also winning when Mirko Bortolotti had domination. So the only thing they've done, really, is swapped positions. It would be great to see someone like Hendrik Augustin, Florian Becker, Lucas Müller, maybe Peter Verdonk, to see them do really well and have a sensational evening. Just someone that no one really expects. Everyone expected, really, Jonas Vana to be very quick coming into season 5. He'd been putting in the work, he'd been doing everything he could do. Mirko Bortolotti just back from, or just done with his real life racing season. Didn't have much time on the sim. So everyone pipped Jonas Vana as the favourite for this season. But you have to still do it. You have to still make it work. As you see, the night lighting on the Ford has just come on. The purple night lighting. Jonas Vana, Florian Becker at P3. See it also by the 3 lights illuminated on the sides of the car. These cars have so many gimmicks, especially for endurance. To repair the GT3s. They were also a lot more expensive. They weren't being raced as much as GT3s are. Florian Becker under pressure from Hendrik Augustin. That gap opened up a bit too much now. Down the straight. Porsche v Porsche. Müller in the background is there to pick up the pieces if there are any. He might even attack himself to Hendrik Augustin. Stefano Pellegrino on the bumper of Philippe Buitron. Philippe Buitron started driving 2 weeks ago. For someone who's only been driving for 2 weeks in iRacing, he is doing a stellar job. You have to get used to it the first couple of days, first couple of weeks. At the moment, he could be, and he promises to be routed. P12 now has dropped down 12th position. Or 10th position from where he started for Squadron 324 Racing. Ismaya from Gorillas AVL Race Tech Sim Racing. Finds himself in P1 for Jonas Vana. It's P2 for Mirko Bortolotti once again, like he was in Server 1. Back to P2 race and also quicken the Florian Becker behind him. The white flag is waving here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. The white flag is waving for the first week of the championship. Quinten Verdonk has done what he promised to do in qualifying. That was blistered the opposition with quick lap times in the silver class. Closest silver is still Matthew Roughton in P12. He is P6. So that will be a good leap of points that Quinten Verdonk will take home. Well then, here's Jonas Vana. He has done everything he needed to do. He's had a perfect start to this season for him, because he's going to cross the line to take victory in the feature race as well. And a Grand Slam from Jonas Vana immediately at the first week of this new season. Jonas Vana takes the Grand Slam, Mirko Bortolotti in second, and Florian Becker in P3, Hendrik Augustin in P4, ahead of Lucas Müller in P5, and Quinten Verdonk. Take a bow, son. What a race from Quinten Verdonk. Chanté with his best performance as well in the overall class so far. Was silver last year or last season, but has been promoted because of his stellar driving to the overall class. He finishes P10. I can see Chanté performance in chat P9. It is actually P10, but it was very close together with Benjamin Moza, 21 thousandths of a second. Here's Jan Lins. He's got to find his way to start finish as well to finish off this race. And that is everyone across the line. So let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen, at the results of this race. Here we go then. Here's the result. It is Jonas Vana with the Grand Slam, and he finishes it off in style. Mirko Bortolotti in second, Florian Becker in third, and Hendrik Augustin in P4. Lucas Müller in P5, Quinten Verdonk in sixth, but he wins the silver class. Walter Lux in P7, ahead of Benedict Hitz in P8, Benny Moza in P9, Chanter with his best performance overall in P10, Hugo Ropp in 11th, and in second in the in the silver class and 12th overall, Matthew Roughton. Chris Meyer in P13, but P3 in the silver class. Then Stefano Pellegrino P14, Philippe Hugrin in P15, Marcus Deutsch P16, Martin Stadtmann 17th, Tom Leitgeb in 18th. 19th is Christian Ablesser, Michael Dörlinger in P20. P21 for Hendrik Steurer, P22 for Jan Lins, P23 for David Overma, P24 for Marinko Jordanovski, P25 for Pascal Haas, P26 Thomas Egelwolf, Markus Pleschberger in P27 and Benedikt Hochleitner P28. Thorsten Groß, Jens Fiedler, Florian Stadtmann, Marius Zug and Lucas Krambert, all of those drivers not being able to see the checkered flag. Well then, what a drive, a stellar drive from all of our competitors here this evening. And I'm quickly waiting for one of the drivers to hop into the interview waiting room. Let's see if we can interview them. But what a stellar drive from everyone and anyone. And, well, let's hope that we have more of the same, really, on Monday. This is the only time, really, that that we will race on the Friday. But we've got Florian Becker with us. Florian, welcome in.
Yeah, welcome, everyone.
Florian, tell us from your perspective, how was that race? Because it was quite a demanding one. First, you were fighting together with Jonas, and then after that, you were chasing down Mirko Bortolotti.
Which one? The first one or the second? Because I'm mixing them up already. I don't know.
I'm talking about the second race here.
The second race, yeah, okay. I mean, obviously I went for the early pit stop because, you know, in the pack you cannot make any progress, so better have, you know, clean air, free air, and just go as fast as you can. I lost a bit to Mirko in the pit stop because I had to fuel a bit more than the first race, because I had to fuel save massively in the first race, so I lost a bit more time there. Then I could kind of hold the pace to Mirko like 2 seconds, and obviously that gap was a bit costly because you saw like people, you know, exiting the pits between us. And yeah, at some point, sorry if I don't know the names right now, the guy in front of me made a mistake. I went by and then I just defended as hard as I could, you know, just maintain the gap, try not to open any doors and bring it home.
Florian, how is the adrenaline? Because it sounds like you're full of adrenaline at the moment.
Well, obviously it's a bit tense, you know, you cannot afford a mistake. That's the thing, you know. You know you're not being overtaken if you don't make a mistake. That's the thing. Because if you place your car always in the right spot all the time, no one can take it away from you. But if you mess up, then it's gone, you know. So obviously that was a bit stressful. Probably I was counting down the last like maybe 4 or 5 laps. But you know, if you have a bit of routine, it's not that. I mean, I had it under control, let's say. So that was good.
Florian, a good start of the season for you. What will you be looking for, well, on Monday? Because we will race on Monday again.
I don't know. It's always a surprise here. I mean, Porsche Cup in Interlagos, I messed up completely. I just didn't get on with the car track combination. Just didn't feel comfortable. And now, like, you see how fast can change. You know, like different car, different track, and everything gets turned around for you. So, if you're unlucky, you have like 2 servers like the Porsche Cup one today. Then you have a really bad night. And if you're lucky, then you have 2 like the second server, and you have a really good night.
All right, Florian. Thank you very much. Congratulations to the podium.
Thanks, mate. See you.
Let's move on to our winner in the silver class, Quinten Verdonk. Quinten, first of all, how's the adrenaline after that?
There's nothing too special, I guess. Maybe first time win. Was quite a bit of fun. Even first time driving the GTs.
It was your first time driving the GTEs, you're saying?
Pretty much.
And you were up there in the top 6 overall, whilst being a silver driver?
I guess so. I mean, I do drive a lot of GTPs and, well, GT3s every now and then.
So I think you can give yourself a big pat on the back with that then.
Let's go. Well, I guess all the other experience gives quite a bit of, well, a little bit of a head start.
I want to talk about a bit more about race 1, because Quinten, you got up into P1 in the silver class, and then, well, let's be honest, you bottled it. Tell us how that happened.
I guess cold tires first, proper race in it, and expecting a bit too much.
How tricky was that direction change from the second to the last corner? Because it seemed like a lot of drivers were struggling with it.
Oh yeah, like the whole race, it was all good. I just kind of sort of threw it in. It just stuck all the way through, and then that one line, it was like, yeah, I don't care anymore. You're on your own. So I guess that's all it. No comment really about it.
All right, Quinten, thank you very much. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you very much.
Well then, let's go to Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko,
Good evening.
A good evening for you, combining server 1 and server 2. But it looks like you've got a challenger in your hands for the championship this year.
As usual. It's not the first time. I mean, Jonas has been always quick in the past seasons, and he's always started with the right foot, and he's done the same tonight. So I'm really happy to see this, and not only that, but really good field and really competitive and well-behaving field. I think we had some good races tonight.
You went for an early pit stop in race 2. Can you tell us more about your decision making there?
Yeah, I was stuck in the pack. I said I need to risk it if I want to get a reward. Was a bit risky in that situation, but in the end it paid off. Not fully, but I think if Jonas would have stayed stuck in traffic for a couple of laps, it would have played out even better. But yeah, in the end I'm quite happy with P2, and I think it's a good way to start the season.
Let's move back a bit further in today's timeline to server 1. Both races there, I think second behind Jonas. How tricky was that track and car combination? Because it looked like a lot of people were struggling with the difficult nature of the Porsche Cup car.
It's not my favorite car, I must be honest with you. So I'm not really happy every time it gets picked, but it's a really popular car in iRacing and generally, and it's a special car to drive. It feels like a front-wheel drive in some situations. Really tricky to drive, and yeah, it's not really easy to find the limit with it, especially on a hot track like Interlagos. and I think that yeah, everybody, including myself, we struggled a bit to get used to it in practice, but yeah, I think that I had the chance to make a move on the Porsche Cup race, but yeah, it was a bit too risky, and it's not the moment to take risks. So I was quite happy with the B2, and it's fine.
All right, Maker. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
So then, let's move on to Matthew. Matthew, a difficult second race for you. First of all, you started quite high up the field, but from there on, I think it was damage limitation and trying not to drop too far back.
Oh, the faster people were coming around right where they should be. I was happy to be here and survive. I had a great race. I was actually so focused I forgot whether or not I'd already pitted, and I was just watching other people. But yeah, glad to be here because I joined a team called Squadron 324, and Davey invited me, so glad to join you guys.
Matthew, what time is it for you now?
It is 5:30 in the evening.
Oh, okay. I thought it was early morning for you.
Nope.
So a bit of a mistake there. Anyways, glad to have you here. I think the only American driver in the field. So yeah, we're glad to have you
I
here.
didn't realize that.
Tell us a bit more about how Server 1 went for you.
Oh, let's see. So I have never raced on Interlagos. That was a 20-minute learn the track and race. I'm comfortable in the Porsche Cup car, but the track was about half as wide as I had remembered seeing from video, or the way it is once you get on it. And let's see. I think I I had one spin by myself, which was pretty disappointing. But other than that, I was glad to survive at all. The second race there, we had a big old crash. I got involved in where.
Yeah, yeah, we saw that.
Yeah. I'm not sure what else I could have done there. I was, on the outside of the track already, but it's good fun.
Well, after this evening, have your goals changed compared to coming in to this evening?
If from where I am in the standings, I guess I just gotta practice every combination now. Is the best I can do. I usually do a ton of practice for any race weekend, and this is a little different. So.
Is it a good change in your opinion that you don't have like weeks and weeks to practice and to try out a track?
Yeah, it's different. I try some. I don't normally drive. I either drive GTP or GT3. So actually, that was my first race in GTE just now, and yeah, well, I'll consider strategies. You can't really predict what's gonna happen, but it makes it fun.
All right, Matthew. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's move on to our last interview, and let's move on to the alien that is Jonas Vana this evening. Jonas, everything played out perfectly for you in race 2. Moses kind of opened the sea for you on the back straight.
Well, there was a crash. I mean, I looked like 2 cars ahead, and I saw that somebody went off, and I was like, I braked a bit, but then somebody just fly into the moon. It was crazy.
Yeah, we did indeed see that.
I had so much luck in that feature race. It's incredible.
We've seen that usually the feature race is, especially in Server 2, is where the Grand Slam ends because it is so difficult to make your way through from 18th back to the front of the field, especially if some of the other drivers have a bad race in race 1 and for some reason start to the front of the feature race. That wasn't the case for you this time. Tell us a bit about that opening lap, because I think you already gained about 6 positions by the time we got to turn 6.
Yeah, I nailed the start 2 times in the first race and then in the feature race. I mean, I don't know. I just released the clutch and it was perfect 2 times. And I mean, I knew that if I want to go to the front to get that W, I need to be a bit more aggressive than usual. So I tried it. It worked perfectly. I mean, I had some crashes in front, so some cars were off. Some fast guys, Martin, Marius, they went off. Was a bit of luck for me. And then I was already in front of Mirko, and I was like, yeah, that could be a W if I can keep going like this. But then I saw Mirko coming into the pits at the first lap, and I was like, oh no, I did the wrong strategy, because usually if you have clean air, you can be so much faster than being in traffic. But yeah, with that big crash on the back straight, I think everything worked out perfectly.
And then, if you look back at your strategy, can you tell us a bit more about your decision making in that?
Yeah, I knew that when Mirko went into the pits, I knew that I wanted to go into the pits at the end of lap 2, so he doesn't gain too much time by me being stuck in traffic. But after that crash, I had the big gap to P1, it was like 2-3 seconds, I don't know. And I knew if I can keep going, catch him, pass him quickly, then I think I can gain a lot of time. And in the end, that's what happened. I mean, I gained 4 or 5 seconds after the pit stop to Mirko, and I think it worked out perfectly with all the luck, but in the end, I think it was the right strategy.
Mirko has said to us before that you've been there every season, but you haven't quite been there as early, or well, you were always a great starter, let's put it like that, but you've never been there this well. A Grand Slam in the first week of the championship. Does that give you extra confidence going into this season, that you can indeed pull it off?
Of course, I mean, if I would say that I don't have confidence now, I would be lying. Of course, I know that a lot of fast guys weren't here today, but I think the track car combos work perfectly for me. So I think I will try to do the Grand Slam in week 2 again.
Perfect, Jonas. Okay, thank you very much, and we'll be looking out for you doing the Grand Slam again on Monday.
Alright, see you guys.
Well then, that was it for this evening. We've had everyone. We've had about 15 to 20 minutes of pure interviews, but we've enjoyed it. Of course, thank you to you all for watching. Thank you to everyone at home. And thank you to everyone who made it possible in here. I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. And we'll see you back on Monday. Don't forget it. W12 is back, and we're back big. We're back on Monday. See you then. Stay safe. Until then, bye-bye.